But today we're going to know more about bipolar disorder. We have clinical psychologist Maizan Dianati to share her thoughts or insights on bipolar disorder. She is a graduate of Nottingham University in the UK. That's your forte, Mama. And over the past 6 years, she has been working in UK's National Health Service and Indonesia also to help teenagers suffering from anxiety, depression, low self-esteem using cognitive behavioral therapy. So without further ado, we're going to welcome her. Hi, Maizan. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello everyone. Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here, Maizan. You know what? Before we begin with our discussion today, we do hope that our viewers also can teach the children, because I see a lot of young, the youngins right now in the younger generation. They like to use the marking, or they like to use the remark, you're so bipolar, right? But without knowing what is bipolar disorder. Hence, I think, it is very accurate for us to know more, visually about what bipolar disorder is. And Maizan, is someone, when they were born, are they detected with bipolar disorder, or is there factors along their line that causes this disorder?
Okay, so first maybe start from the definition, yeah? So bipolar disorder is a chronic mental disorder which causes the sufferers to have or experience intense emotional changes, which include the manic episodes and depressive episodes. So the cause of the diagnosis itself, it's the chemical imbalance on the sufferer's brain. So there is a part in our brain which called neurotransmitters. It includes the serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline. Yeah? So if there's an imbalance in this chemical, so it would cause the sufferers to have like symptoms that's relating to the emotional and mood disorder. And there are certain factors as well that would contribute some people to have more tendencies to have bipolar disorder, which is genetics, and also bad trauma, childhood trauma can trigger it as well, and certain medications. So if someone has like hormonal treatment, sometimes it can also increase the tendencies to have a major depressive disorder or manic disorder.
Right. Is it like the third condition is like if you take a malaria pills like a Larium, I think it can cause that sort of like intense mood swings. Is that correct, Maizan?
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So speaking of bipolar disorder, I think I seem to have read somewhere that bipolar disorder has similar symptoms to other types of psychological disorder. Is it depression, and how do we differentiate it?
Okay, so the differences would be in terms of intensity and the frequency. Yeah? So in terms of frequency, although it sounds like mood swings, but it's very different. So in people with bipolar disorder, the range of episodic time can be persistent. So like the depression itself can last for weeks or even months or years before it changed into the manic episodes. And when they got into the manic episodes, it's also the same. It can last for more than 7 days, even until years before it changed into another episode.
So what does a typical day look like for someone with bipolar disorder?
So as like any mental health conditions, like the appearance would be the same, like they would look the same like normal people, but it's just like when they are experiencing certain emotions, the experience itself, it's different. So when, for example, when they are very happy or when they are in the manic episodes, like they don't have full control of themselves, so they don't have control like how to spend their money. They can be awake for, let's say, 20 hours. They have like a lot of energies to talk, really enjoy like people presence, but it's on a daily basis. And during the depressive, during the depression, it can be like on the opposite side, like they don't have any motivation to go out, and even like suicidal thoughts would come for people with bipolar disorder.
And what I heard from bipolar disorder, those that have this such condition, do they need to take special medication also to kind of, penetrate and just to make it more subtle for themselves?
Yes, in this case, since it's a chronic situation, pharmacological treatments are needed because the cause itself is the imbalance on the hormones, right? So medicines relating to that would be helpful to suppress the symptoms in these people. But like it would be great as well if there are combinations with psychological treatment.
Right. Can we be cured from bipolar disorder, Maizan?
Unfortunately, since it's chronic situations, it cannot be gone completely, but of course there are ways to control the emotions itself, so it won't get into the extreme ranges. So everything would still be manageable for them.
Oh, wow.
Right. So, what sort of therapy is needed to complement this? Yes, of course, pharmacological help should be there, but also what kind of therapies do you usually do to complement this type of management?
Usually, cognitive behavioral therapy would help because people with bipolar disorders, they need to know the triggers that can cause them to have that emotional breakdowns or emotional volatility. So once they got help to identify the triggers, like the psychologist can help them to anticipate the situations better, so they would have more control over the symptoms itself, and the experience would become easier for them.
Could you please give us an example of a case where, okay, the trigger or the trauma or the source of the trauma is this, and then what sort of therapies did you go through with that person in order for him or her to be able to manage the bipolar disorder that they have?
For example, usually like if they don't have enough support from their environments, for example, like a teenager who experience bipolar disorder, because their parents keep on, let's say, not having like a very good relationships, and it affects her. So, and like the symptoms itself. So as a psychologist, I will help her, like to identify what kind of non-productive behaviors that this person did,
such as?
when he experienced. So, for example, self-harm, suicidal ideation. So anything that would be harmful towards themselves. So when it happened, we help them, as psychologists help them to identify this and try to reframe the thoughts that they are having, so the behavior itself would change into
How would you reframe it?
Better coping. So in order to reframe it, like we have to know first what kind of thoughts that they are experiencing, especially the ones that can be like very disruptive. So for example, like, okay, like I am not a good person. So we try to help them to find the evidences that would be the opposite of the things that they are thinking at that time.
But it's good if you have, or when they're having this kind of episodes, there's someone there, or like an expertise or a doctor, one say. But what if they're at home, let's say, and they have these kind of episodes? What are they? Should they just be left alone and let them manage it, or they needed someone there, especially they want the one that trusts them, and then they're used to the loved ones to be there to help them to kind of control and manage the condition and the situation.
Of course, supports from the loved ones are needed in this case because they need somebody who understands them. Because like it can be really difficult for them, and especially to reach out for other people, because sometimes like if people don't really understand about the situations, it would be like it can be very hard, especially once they have like the suicidal ideation. So support from loved ones is needed, and especially like loved ones should take care of how the medications were consumed by these sufferers, and also it's just like in terms of having like an ear, the ones that can listen to their problem and the one that can understand it can help the experience in total.
Right.
Right.
Because I have a story before, Marissa. A friend of mine has a partner who's bipolar, and then their partners actually, and then he said, I just need to let her out the steam. So I can't say anything, but I'm just there sitting next to her just to protect her, but I won't interrupt her, whatever that she's saying and whatnot. So yeah, that's, that was the sense of the question. Do you just be there, at least being there with them, but not interrupt whatever the thoughts of trains that they have and the emotion, just let them out before when they're calmed down, then they can sit down and talk more about it.
So other than listening with full attention, what are the do's and don'ts that loved ones can give to someone who is suffering bipolar disorder?
Okay, so the do's, you need to learn better about the bipolar disorder itself. Because sometimes, the stress itself, not only affecting the patients, but it can affect the caregivers as well. Especially if we don't know, why is this certain person behave like this? It can cause stress as well to the caregivers. So we need to learn more about the condition itself, so we would anticipate better about the symptoms that's relating to the manic episodes and both the depressive episodes as well. So we would know how to support better and helping them to get proper diagnosis and treatments as well would be needed, because they need that, other than the support from the caregivers. And the most important is also make yourself stable as well, because the more we are capable of controlling our own emotions, the better we are as well to help others who are suffering.
What about the don'ts? What should we not do?
First of all, the don'ts is don't give any snapped out judgment very quickly, yes, because there are certain things that of course we would not be we wouldn't understand when that happened, because we are not someone who experienced that as well. So try to avoid giving a negative label towards the patients itself, and whenever people are having that, or whenever we listen, we hear that someone is having that, don't give them advices as well based on our own experience, because it would be different, the experiences that other people have. So the first thing, it's better to be empathetic and also listen.
So my following up question to what Marissa is that those are the do's and don'ts for the caregivers. So let's say one is caregiving a bipolar disorder. Can they also have the same condition? Let's say maybe, he or she got tired of it and they're emotionally break down because of, caregiving this one that has a condition. Can it also affect them?
Yes, of course, based on the evidences as well, the stress on caregivers can be very high when they are attending someone who has mental illnesses. So when you realize that you already have what's called continuous symptoms of depression, you don't have motivations to do the things that you like to do, or your sleeping patterns or eating patterns start to change rapidly. So it's the signs as well that maybe you're the one who need help right now, and accept that, and maybe try to go to your support systems first, and if it's still not helpful, try to seek for maybe psychological help as well.
And we're also aware that your loved one, in fact your mom, experiences bipolar disorder. So how do you deal with that, Maizan? And have you ever experienced a low point in your life when, of course, I can only imagine it can be very challenging emotionally. You love this person, but at the same time you are also only human, you're affected emotionally as well. What was your low point and how did you come out of it? How did you overcome it?
Yeah. So of course it can be difficult to deal with that, especially like when the episodes reaching like the very extreme point. So before, like we didn't very aware, we were not very aware of the condition itself. So it took us like years until we got help. But yeah, like it can be seen as well, like once she got her medications and her therapy, the situation start to get better. So if your loved ones have this condition, make sure they have like a proper treatment. And the lowest point is it happens like whenever the depression kicked in, because like you can wake up and then hearing all of the negative thoughts, and even something there are times when suicidal attempts would be taken. So at that time, what I would do is just like to listen better to the situations, and discuss it with the professionals as well, that's working with her especially. So, and try to give like more what's called like things that they like, especially during the depressive symptoms. So bring them, the person, bring my mother to holiday, for example, to the mall. So some activities that would alternate her mind from the all of the negative thoughts that she is having.
There's a lot of adjustment that needs to be done. But Maizan, we really do praise for what you've done, especially for your loved ones. And before we begin with this discussion, we know that you've been working for the past 6 years now to help teenagers suffering from anxiety, depression, low self-esteem. Now, you said that this bipolar disorder is because causes by factors that happens in their life. What can we do as a parent, for upbringing our children with good mental health condition, especially during the nowadays where everything is in social media, or maybe the parents, they don't realize that we're the one that's causing these kind of conditions to our children. So what can you, share your opinions, and also what you've learned throughout this years? What can we parents do to give a stable, healthy, and happy environment for our children?
So first of all is to increase their self-esteem, because there are very strong connections between fragility and also the levels of self-esteem. So try to acknowledge what the things that they are good at. So don't really, let's say, put your own idea about how people should be good in society, because they have their own personal strengths as well.
Correct.
And those are the things that parents would need to figure out together with the children. And be the safe space as well, for the children, so they would be comfortable to come whenever they have some underlying issues or things that can be difficult to talk about to their peers maybe, so they would be comfortable to talk to the parents.
Wow.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Maizan Dianati, clinical psychologist, for sharing your thoughts and expertise around bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
I guess that is a big challenge, isn't it? Because I remember, Kay, when I was a child, and when I was a teenager especially, whenever I had problems, I never said anything to my parents.
Right.
Because I don't think I was like my parents. My mom is a wonderful woman, but for some reason, because she panics so easily,
Yes.
if I'm in trouble, I don't want to make her panic, even more, right? It's but I guess this is a note, it's this is something that we should change.
Yes.
As parents especially, we need to create a certain environment where our children feel most comfortable
With
actually coming to us as parents whenever they have problems.
Yes, to become the safe haven right there in
Yes.
their lives. Thank you so much, Maizan.
Thank
and
you,
hope
Maizan.
we'll see you again
You're
soon.
welcome.
Stay
Have a lovely
safe.
day.
Happy Monday.
Bye. Thanks.
Happy Monday as well. Bye.
Bye.